what techniques are you using to build this trust in a remote work environment? And so, we're talking about hybrid work here. Some of that means that you have remote workers. So I think that leads right into it. It's really, really, really strong to mention that stuff. So how has hybrid work affected your end user reactions? Workload, changing the way you interact, blurring lines between online, offline hours. So Nathan, why don't you talk about how workload has affected your or hybrid work mode has affected your day-to-day?
So we're actually just kind of transitioning now into more of a hybrid work. We're 100% remote up until this point through the pandemic so far. We did just open up an office and we're working and allowing people to come back in. I think one of the nice things is it's not a forced thing. We're allowing people to utilize it if they want to. And I think policies like that, where we can provide resources without mandating, kind of help ease that transition. But yeah, the workload is difficult, especially when you're at home. I'm in my home office and it's very easy to, be working till 6, 7, 8 at night because you get focused on something, right? So it's hard to sometimes pull yourself away, but I found that getting out of the room that I'm in, shutting this computer down and doing other things is really vital. So I end up like not working on other things in here, trying to separate that out has been very helpful. And as far as interacting with end users, yeah, it's a challenge because it's all virtual at this point. And I think to kind of what James was saying, that small talk, like we don't get that kind of water cooler conversation as naturally anymore. So right. It takes a little bit more effort to like reach out and like, whether it's on Slack or, whatever, checking in with people, just kind of chatting, seeing how they're doing, what's new with them. And I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, that's you brought up something that I think is really important to talk about. It's, air gapping your environment, right? Making a space that you don't work in so it's home if you're in that remote work scenario. James, how do you maintain a healthy workload, even during business hours? If you're working remote, do you set time in the day where you step away from the computer, you go outside and you move around just like you might do in the office and bump into someone and chat? How do you weave that into your daily work environment, whether you're in the office or out of the office?
Well, we're also 100% remote since the pandemic started. Although we have reopened our office for people to go in if they want to, only a handful have actually been going. So there are times where like I'll go to the office to work, even because like I need to meet a new hire or I need to, meet up with somebody that broke something. Um, but as far as like managing the workload, it is very easy, like Nathan was saying, to just be focused and just to like keep going. Um, as far as breaks throughout the day, sometimes I'll work outside when the weather's nice. I know that that's probably a luxury of being in South Florida. Um, and sometimes I'll get up and get a snack or things like that. I mean, just things we've kind of gotten used to doing. Things become more challenging later in the day once my kids come home from school and then my wife comes home from work. Then it gets a little bit more challenging because there's more interruptions, there's questions about homework, and sometimes during those parts of the day, I'll try to do stuff that's kind of like you're on autopilot, so that when the concentration is broken, it's not as frustrating, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's a very different way of working. Whereas before, like when you're in an office environment, you kind of have like the background noise of people working, or you hear people leaving. It's like, oh, it's time for me to go. Let me wrap up. So it's just a different kind of way of doing things.
Yeah, it's that's great information, and it's interesting, what different people do to maintain a healthy balance. I'm 100% remote right now, and we're starting to open back up the offices so people can come in, and I think I do want to come in from time to time, you know, just to be around my work family. But you know, I'm starting to get a little better. I was doing back to back to back, and now I'm starting to get a little better about putting some blocks of time where I will respect that time and take care of me and get up and go move around, maybe go outside, get some fresh air, and then come back in 10, 15 minutes and get back at it. And you know, take some discipline, but you know, we're IT people, it's always been that kind of always on job, but we're humans first.
Please subscribe and check out more content from us.